Welcome to All Gen Gamers, a podcast for people in video games of all generations. Starring Pete Dorr, Happy Console Gamer, Gamester81, and Jason Heine.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 12 of All Gen Gamers. I'm one of your co-hosts, Gamester81, also known as John. How you guys doing? We have Jason Heine, EMU Review. What's up, Jason?
What's up, guys?
We have Pete Dorr from YouTube. Pete, what's up?
Hey guys, what's up?
And we got Johnny Millennium, Happy Console Gamer. What's up, Johnny?
Hey guys, how's it going?
We're joined by our special guest, Fraser. You guys might know him from FarFromSubtle on YouTube. What's up, man?
Hello, Internet. And hello, friends.
Welcome to All Gen Gamers. I guess we'll kind of start with your channel, kind of how you got started with YouTube. I know you're on other sites as well, but kind of start us off by who's on the show, how you guys all met, and where you guys got started.
Well, yeah, YouTube is basically all that we do now. We used to do a podcast. That's actually the reason I started the show. Is I was in film school, and I dropped out when I saw how big the internet was getting with video and podcasting, and in particular, when the iPod video came out and Steve Jobs showed that you could watch podcasts on it. And I became a fan of a lot of shows, including Tiki Bar TV. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but the guy who played Lester on our Game Genie episode was on that podcast, and it was a Canadian podcast that really inspired me. Nice. And Steve Jobs actually featured their podcast during his announcement of the iPod video. And I pretty much my reaction was like, Jesus, this is getting big. Like, and never, when I had gone into film school, it's amazing how much has changed in just a few years, but I had no idea that would ever be an avenue for me. The internet wasn't something that you could watch video on at that time. And, I mean, listen to me again, like it's not that long ago, but like you never even fathomed being able to download stuff like that. And so anyways, I just, I dropped out and I started making shows, and Awesome Video Games was one of many show ideas that I had. And, so we just got together and started shooting it.
Which film school did you drop out of? Because I'm up here in Vancouver with you. I'm just kind of curious.
Well, I actually started in Ontario, and I was going to Humber College, and, I spent 1 year there and I learned how to use everything. And the following 2 years were about making films and actually like doing internships and stuff. So basically I learned everything I needed to do, use equipment and do lighting and basic lighting setups and sound. Yeah. So I just got together with my friends. The guy who plays Ace is Ben. He's my best friend from high school. We've known each other for about 15 years now, I guess. And the guy who plays Chet, his name's Kyle, and also Dad, Deacon. They were two residents on my floor at college, and I was their RA. So they just ended up being friends of mine, so I got them all together, and we did what we did.
But so here's a good question. How did you guys come up with the concept for Awesome Video Games? Just you're sitting around, you wanted to do a show at that point, and the concept, how did it evolve?
The concept was based on the characters, I think, more than anything. I came up with Ace and Chet when I was working at a film studio and just daydreaming and stuff. And like I said, I came up with a few different show ideas at the time, but and actually Awesome Video Games was probably last on the list of viable options at the time. I think I just pictured a cross between Wayne's World and video game commercials. And I thought that there could be something there, trying to make something look retro. And admittedly, it was pretty rough around the edges in the early stages when I was still learning, figuring out the equipment. But we were just having fun.
So where did you actually film the episodes? Where's that all filmed at? Like, I'm kind of curious about the camera used and just the early days. It's kind of
how
fun
techie should I get on that?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if I should nerd out that much. I don't know. Okay, well, I've been using the same camera from the very beginning, and that's called the DVX 100A. It's by Panasonic, and it's a 3CCD camera. It's pretty big. It's a professional camera. It's when I bought it, it was $3,500. And I also bought a nice shotgun microphone for it, which was $700. And then I bought a lighting kit for $3,000. So I maxed out my credit card basically just to get a good setup so that I could start making things. And admittedly, you can. I acknowledge that you can make shows on a much smaller budget than that, but I was coming from, again, film school, right? So my idea of making a show was that it had to be of high fidelity and something that could transcend formats as well, because I, from the very beginning, had DVDs as one of my strategies. So anyways, once I had the equipment, I just started figuring it out. That was the other thing too, was I wasn't planning on spending the next 6 years of my life making shows for the internet. I was thinking that I would learn how to use this equipment, that get jobs on the side using this professional equipment for other companies. But
so when did Awesome Video Games begin? Was that, you said 6 years ago?
I think so.
Was it really?
Well, let me see. When was our last? I think that YouTube will tell me, because I posted the first video, our first video, about 6 months after we shot it. So let's see here, February 26, 2006. So yeah, pretty much it's coming up on 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was YouTube your first choice, or like what did you want to do with the, like, as you said, you filmed the episode, then later on you put it on YouTube?
My first choice was sending out podcasts onto iTunes.
Right.
And I just kind of put stuff on YouTube as a side thought, but I guess that's what ended up getting the attention of ScrewTech, was our YouTube postings. And once ScrewTech contacted me, I have to credit them with our early success, because it brought eyes to the content that otherwise probably wouldn't have found it it would have taken us a while to get those views. So they had an audience and they brought us over, and we started getting a viewership.
Fraser, why don't you explain for the listeners that don't know anything about Awesome Video Games, what's basically the idea behind the show, like what happens? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are probably a little confused right now. So go ahead and explain that.
Oh yeah, Awesome Video Games is basically it's like imagine the old video game shows that you used to watch in the 90s, where the tips and tricks that you'd get from the host would be nothing more than the instructions from the manual, and the sort of ineptitude and seeming disinterest from the hosts back then. Well, that doesn't quite enter into our show, but our guys are like a cross between that and Wayne's World. And it's trying to bottle all of the extremeness of the 90s into a 5-minute show, and then it's about old video games. And it's supposed to, we never really decided whether it's a period piece or not, whether these guys actually are in the 80s or 90s, or whether they're actually in present day and just don't know it. But that's basically what it is. It's trying to emulate via nostalgia those old video game medias.
How would you guys determine what games you'd review?
Just whatever I had, right?
Yeah.
At first. And then once we got into season 2, where we built an actual set, I did a lot of eBaying to acquire all the games that I used to have that, I don't have anymore. Thanks, Mom. And so I reacquired my collection, plus some here and there. I'd never had a Rob, but now I do. So this was also a little bit of an excuse, I guess, to buy things. And I just started stacking up the collection. And then after that, we just chose whatever game seemed to... We pretty much tried to come up with a gimmick for every episode around each game. So anything that just strikes us as being something that would have a good story around it, we do.
In the first couple episodes, like first season, you were kind of behind the scenes, right? Doing the directing and writing, all that?
Right, yeah.
It's cool.
Doing everything.
Yeah, I think I first saw the show probably about 4 years ago, and I think I was on the Angry Video Game Nerds channel, and he had favorited your show, and I was like, oh, I wonder what this is, and I click on the channel, and the show just began, and I'm like, holy cow, this is intense, this is wild. Yeah. It was so fast.
A little fun fact there is that we were the first channel that James subscribed to on YouTube. Wow. And he's the first channel that we subscribed to on YouTube. and that's probably thanks to the Screw Attack partnership, because otherwise we wouldn't have really known about each other. But James has been a big fan since the beginning, and I have to credit him with probably many of our subscribers due to, just like you've said, I could imagine how many people have found us through his channel. But him and Mike there are pretty big fans of the show.
So you've done the show. You did the show in a certain format for a long time. Then all of a sudden, you changed the format. Now, I'm not saying that you stopped doing your old episodes, but you kind of went with another format as well. If you want to explain that, because now you guys all sit on the couch and you're in it playing video games, and you kind of have the video game behind you and you're on the couch playing it.
Yeah, so the show, I wouldn't say that the format has changed, because it's a different show completely, right? So Awesome Video Games still exists, and it still has its format. And this is just it's a new show with a new format. The reason I started doing this one was because it's easier to produce, for one. And AVG, Awesome Video Games, was taking, I should explain that too, if anybody doesn't know. We have two shows, Awesome Video Games and Video Games Awesome. The Awesome Video Games is the retro one, and Video Games Awesome is the more contemporary one, where it's not acting, but it's an actual, real life hosted one, where we are actually honestly speaking and playing games. But basically, so I'd always intended to do both at the same time, and for a while I was. And it was so that, because it takes so long to make an episode of Awesome Video Games, I wanted a way to keep on keeping us in everybody's mind by, keeping their subscription box full, right? Because sometimes, like, we would have to take breaks from Awesome Video Games due to just, how long it takes to produce, or maybe somebody's out of town for a while. So sometimes we'd go like a month or two without being able to release episodes. So Video Games was supposed to come in and fill that gap.
How long would it take you to make an episode of Awesome Video Games? Like, from the shooting, I know that's a lot, because I watched 2 episodes and I'm like, man, these guys must spend a lot of time on editing.
Yeah, that actually is something I wanted to ask you, Fraser. I've watched quite a few of your episodes, and I just want to tell you that your production value is through the roof. And of course, now, learning, you've been through film school, and I'm sure you've been doing this for quite some time, and, you're an artist, obviously. And I know tricks of the trade, you don't want to give any of those out, but
I can give a few out if you'd like to know some.
Why don't you just explain the production process from, start to, finish a little bit?
Sure. Well, Awesome Video Games, it took a while to develop that process, but once it was fully fleshed out, this is kind of how it goes. Basically, I choose the game, or I have an idea for a show, and I'll run it by the guys and just get some initial feedback from them. And sometimes we may play the game for a little bit, just to refresh our memory, or in the case of games that we've never played, see if there's any humor there. After that, I go and I write a script, and the script is very loose. It's there to be like sort of just something to keep us on track in case we get too sidetracked, because there's in the early days when we didn't have a script, there was times where we'd come to a point we didn't understand how to progress the plot, because we did something earlier that would make no sense now, or something like that. So it would, then the night drags on. And anyways, basically, simply put, scripts make it easier. Anyways, so we have a script on set. Then usually I'll do a quick read through with the guys, and that's usually where you start to see what's funny. And then I'll make modifications to the script as we read through, and then I'll print it out, and we go and we start shooting, and we we basically shoot it line for line. There's no, we don't really act out an entire scene or anything. You could probably tell because the camera constantly switches angles. So we just pretty much go line by line, and that's it, I guess. So we shoot it linear, from beginning to end, which is also sort of atypical when it comes to production. Usually you shoot per camera setup. But since the camera is not set up, it's in my hand at all times, we can sort of stay freeform and just shoot from beginning to end the way that you see the show. Then when that's done, I lay it down on a timeline, all the footage, and I select the best versions of the lines. I cut out the obvious stuff that couldn't make it in, and then I tighten it, and tighten it again. And that's probably some of the biggest advice I can give to editors is you have to be brutal when it comes to what you edit out of your show. Things need to be brevity is a huge asset when it comes to online video, and you'll know that whenever you're discovering a new channel or something, you just want to see it get to the point, right? So that's the biggest lesson I learned over the years, was just you have to try to just take out every little, even split second that you can to move the thing forward. And once I've gotten it down to being as tight as I can get it and still make sense, I start to add in the effects, the what you call compositing, and depending on how complicated those are, that sort of determines how long that's usually the longest process, is the effects, depending on how many I put in. And that's probably my biggest downfall is once I get an idea in my head, I need to do it. So that's why sometimes you go months without seeing an episode of Awesome Video Games, because I'm usually trying to figure out how to do a special effect that I don't know how to do.
What do you use to edit? Yeah. What program?
Well, I use Final Cut Pro and the suite of applications that come with that, including Motion. Well, actually, I guess that's the only two I recommend against using Soundtrack.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much all Final Cut Pro, though. I do all the audio in there because it's got all I need when it comes to that. But
Final Cut is amazing, isn't it? You can do so much in there.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, and that's basically it.
So that's really cool. So what is the future for the show? Like, which direction are you going to go in?
Okay, so we always people may have noticed that we're slowing down with Awesome Video Games. We haven't released an episode since the beginning of the year at this point. The reason we're doing that is because, well, for one, I wanted to give the new show a launching pad. Like, I needed to get it off to a really strong start in order to get people interested in it. The second reason is I want people to get to know me, because I want to do this as a career. And I figured pretty quickly that the people who make careers at this are in front of the camera. And the third reason is Awesome Video Games just isn't sustainable as a show that comes out weekly. We tried for years to do it, and it just takes, like I was saying earlier, the effort that goes into it and the amount that has to come together perfectly in order to make it a weekly show. Like, everybody has to be available on the same night. You know, all the special effects have to be, I have to not do certain special effects if I really wanted it to come out that week. Like, I have to cut out my ideas, which I don't like to do. And
it's only you doing all the editing, right?
Yeah. I do everything. The guys, the guy's contribution to the show is what you see on the camera. And they help build the set and stuff like that. All the other physical stuff, but and the improv that they do. So they do contribute a lot of humor to the show, but everything else is me, and that's why it's so hard to produce the show. I don't have a team.
Lot of work, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I guess the question somebody could ask is, why does Awesome Video Games have to be a weekly show in order to, for me to keep making it? And it doesn't need to be. And that's what I've discovered now. It doesn't need to be. I just have to make another show. And why do I need a weekly show? Well, one, it keeps me motivated. Sometimes you get into a rut when you haven't released something in a while. And that'll happen. Like the project sometimes seems like it's just going on forever, and you're like, "What's the point?" Sort of feeling. Video Games Awesome totally remedied that for me. It makes me excited to keep on like pumping out content. But Awesome Video Games is going to keep on going. It's just I'm not going to tell people how often it's going to be coming out, but we have some really big plans. And I think that next year is going to be a pretty big year for that show.
Pretty cool. Looking back on your videos, are there any that kind of pop out as ones that you really like, and maybe a few that you look back on and you're like, oh, I didn't quite like that one, or if there are any?
My favorites are the plot arc episodes. Anything that has a big plot arc, like Gyromite was really fun, and Game Genie is. I think Game Genie is probably I'm most proud of Game Genie. I think because when it was actually Chet and I came up with the idea for that episode, and it was a chat session one night online where we just started hammering out all the ideas. It just felt like once we came up with the premise for that episode, the ideas just flowed out. Like every idea was golden for it. And then when you add in Kevin Gamble into that episode playing Lester, like it's a beautiful episode. And it just totally captures exactly what we were going for with the show, like emulating that feel of television back then, all the way up to the drug message. If I'd have to pick a show that I'm not so proud of, I don't know. I would. I always groan when I look at the very early episodes because, like, I mean, back then I thought that it was like better than anything else that was online. But like when I look at it now, I realize that I was I was definitely finding my legs when it came to video. But I don't know. Yeah, like because I'm on set. Being an online video producer, you have the unique opportunity to be a part of every process, and it's your baby. So even if the episode doesn't end up coming out the exact way that you wanted, or you wish it could be a little bit better, if you're not that proud of the final product, you'll look fondly upon the production process because you get to be on there joking around and being stupid, right? So it's hard to look back on any of it as a bad experience.
It's all part of the procedure, growing, right? So in the beginning, you said you're finding your legs, and the more you kept doing it, the better it gets. That's just the way it is, for sure.
Yeah, the way I look at it is that I spent, instead of going to film school, like it would have been another 3 years. Like, so the early YouTube days were my film school.
Definitely.
Like, yeah, just self-taught. And that's my learning process anyways. When it really came down to it, I wasn't paying attention at film school.
I got one question I want to ask because I know you do, like you handheld the camera and then you kind of like zoom in on the guys, right? You do that, like you actually hold the camera and physically move in. But here's my question, like from editing myself, are you doing like camera moves on top of that in Final Cut?
Sometimes if I need to correct like something like a shot, or sometimes I'll add stabilization or something like that. But no, almost everything is done physically. The reason for that, it has to be done like that pretty much because it wouldn't look natural otherwise because of motion blur.
Yes, totally.
And that's one of the benefits of this camera is that it can shoot at a low frame rate and it looks very film-like. So the motion blur on it is just beautiful. It makes those sickening, camera moves that, especially in the early episodes, are motion sickness inducing. It makes them a little more palatable because of the motion blur.
I was watching them. I'm like, how is he doing that? I'm like, is he doing like a camera move on top of a physical move? But that's like a little film thing I was wondering about. So that's
it's just a lot of weird, surreal movement, and I like to throw in a few vertigos here and there every so often. You might have noticed.
Yeah, definitely.
Shots, Hitchcock style.
Nice.
That's totally awesome. No pun intended.
We joke about the legitimacy of our film process because, the guy who plays Dad is actually also a film student. So we like to, pretend that we're higher caliber than we are, but it's so thrown together.
That's awesome.
Can you give us a little preview of what systems we may see in the future in the coming seasons of Awesome Video Games? I know, are you going to be moving on to the Genesis in the next season, or are you kind of sticking with Nintendo?
It's funny because it's tough. There's so much to cover from Nintendo still. I was talking about this with the guys actually recently. It seems like our Christmas episodes pushed the series ahead faster than it should have been going.
Yeah.
If I had to really, if I would rather that the Super Nintendo be the end of the series or something like that, but it's not going to be. I would say that the episodes that are going to be coming out soon, if you want to put it into canonical order, they'll be before they get the Super Nintendo, because we still want to cover, like, Zelda is a title that's on the high on the to-do list. We have, we want to round out the Punch-Out series. It's going to be, when the Punch-Out series is completed, it's going to be feature length. And we'll be releasing it on DVD as its own DVD with all the Punch-Out episodes. And we want to do a Ninja Turtles saga that includes all the games and then includes the toys. And we're actually thinking about doing a spin-off using turtle toys to act out a sitcom style show that has nothing to do with the Ninja Turtles.
That would be awesome.
Basically just this, sort of, the personalities might not even be similar to the turtles, like just using them as props. But that's just one idea we have. But Power Glove is probably the coup de grace that we have been planning. And that one we'll be shooting next year.
Excellent. You kind of mentioned, the DVD with the Punch Out, and I own a copy of your DVD you guys released. Can you kind of elaborate on? Because I'll be honest, the production value is just amazing on it, and the menu screen is great. You have outtakes. Can you kind of elaborate on what the process into making the DVD, like the thought process of what went into it?
Well, you can thank Michael Richards for the menus, not Kramer, but another guy, Michael Richards online, who was he made a fan tribute video using those sprite animations. He made a Punch-Out video that had Ace put into the game, and he does fantastic work. Like, he meticulously he animates in Flash, and he has such a meticulous attention to detail that he just emulates every move, like the gravity, the feel of a game, and he animates it really well. And anyways, his YouTube name is Orin Creed, Orin Creed. And he does a lot of, I think his first video was this sort of dream that he had, where a bunch of games that he'd been playing that day sort of combined themselves in his dream. So he woke up and he animated it. So it's sort of this like Contra feel that also mixes in Mega Man, and you really should see his videos. I think I included it on the DVD. Anyway, so he did those menus for us, and everything else, putting together, the rest of the DVD is just a headache, like going back and remastering all the episodes so that they actually look decent, and color correcting every episode so that it looks the same as the next episode. You don't have to worry about that online, but what a headache. It took my entire summer doing that. And it was such a torturous process. I just every day dreaded getting up to go do it.
But I know, Johnny, you and I had the opportunity to watch it up at PAX, and it was pretty funny. I mean, the outtakes are great, and it was
definitely. Yeah. I didn't get long enough to watch it. We watched it for about half an hour, and most of the time we were like, "Look at this menu!" We were so blown. We hadn't even got to watching some of the stuff. We were so blown away by the menus. It was such quality. Like, seriously, you guys did such a good job on the whole production. Then we were watching it, and you know what? You got to get some copies and game deals there.
Yeah, I should.
Absolutely, definitely. I'm sure people would love to get
I need to talk to Brian soon, anyway. So yeah,
we'll figure something out with all that. If the viewers want to get a copy of the DVD, and they'll watch your show, they'll definitely like it. I don't see why they wouldn't. Where can they buy the DVD from?
Well, they can get it from our website, and that's ffstv.com. But the best way to do is just find us on YouTube. Watch our show. It's just search on YouTube Awesome Video Games. We'll be the first 100 results or so. So it's not hard to find us. I think we have the market cornered on that sequence of words now with Video Games Awesome and Awesome Video Games. Then the link is on our YouTube page, so you can check it out there. But yeah, watch the show for a bit. I think it'll grow on you.
How's the response been to the new segment that you're doing? Because the new segment, you're sitting on the couch, you're playing games, all four of you. How is that for you guys?
Well, that's the heartbreaking thing. So much effort goes into Awesome Video Games, but Video Games Awesome is just basically us sitting down. I mean, heck, I put a lot of effort into the editing of that show still too. There's no way I couldn't. It's just my nature. But really though, like if I work like 14 hours a day, I can put one of these out a day. And I do work 14 hours a day. So that's basically been what I've been doing. And the response has been so positive. Like, and we have gotten our subscribership started just like skyrocketing since we put these out compared to what we were getting with Awesome Video Games. It's just the viewers, like I guess it's just the way keywords work, right? Like they're newer games. We're doing stuff that comes out and, more recently, and people find us. And I know that there's a lot of fans of Awesome Video Games that wishes that this show never existed so that they get more episodes, but they have to remember that this is my living. This show, Video Games Awesome, the new show is much more profitable than Awesome Video Games. Ad revenue is actually starting to become substantial. And the future is looking really bright for YouTube producers who can produce frequently. But on the flip side, like we've gotten so many new fans of Awesome Video Games because of Video Games Awesome. It's always a pain when I have to talk about these two shows in sequence, but saying the names anyways. But yeah, because of the new viewership from the new show, like DVD sales have gone up. People who will contact me, like when they, you can add a note when you buy the DVD. People have noted that I just found you guys the other day from Video Games Awesome. And then I found this show and I love it, so it's also, they're helping each other. The two shows go well together and they will continue to go well together. Yeah.
Cause you're releasing that show. Like every time I check my subscription box, there's another video from you guys. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's like I think the Halo Reach one I saw the other day, and
especially around PAX.
There's one video I watched recently I really loved. What was the game called? Was it Man versus Man or something? What's that game?
Deadliest Warrior.
That's what it was. Now that I loved watching that. That was so funny.
That one got an interesting response because. Well, we're on right now. Our show's also on thatguywiththeglasses.com.
Right.
And apparently there's this guy on there named Spoonie or something like that. Spoonie.
I kind of seen some of his stuff. I don't know him too well, but yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't known about him until we were on That Guy with the Glasses. But apparently 2 days before we posted our Deadliest Warrior thing, he had posted one. A review of it, and he just laced into it, like he lambasted it till the cows came home, and it had created like this polarizing effect on the internet because apparently he's really popular too, and it actually elicited a response from the game developer Spike Games, and they had said that he wasn't fair to the game, and that because the game is a budget title, that it's only $10. It shouldn't be ranked on the same caliber as, Street Fighter and stuff like that. Like, that it's, and to some extent, I actually do agree with the developer. First of all, the game can't be compared to Street Fighter. And I think he did. And I don't think that was really fair, but regardless. Anyways, because of that controversy, everybody was ready to see our show, like our episode. They clicked on it and the comments just flooded with anger, half support because of this polarizing effect that he had on it. And I was like, this was supposed to be like a sort of side episode that just filled in the gap between the next popular title.
Well, it was funny. I watched that episode and I was like, it actually made me interested in the game because you guys made it look like it was so much fun, Like I love the one-hit kills and stuff like that. It was wild.
That's the nature of our show, right? Like, I mean, Deadliest Warrior, it's not the greatest game ever. It's, and in fact, like, I probably wouldn't play it much after the show. But the thing is, we just have fun playing games. And sometimes I think people take gaming too seriously. And for $10, come on. Like we had a blast with it. How much is a movie?
Yeah, that's true.
And how long did we spend with that game? It was a fun time, and it totally reminded me of Bushido Blade.
Totally. It's funny that you say, people take gaming too seriously. You're totally right. Like you didn't, when one of your videos, it got featured. It was the Halo. The Halo Reach one?
Yeah.
The Halo Reach one. Yeah. And I brought in so many Halo fanboys, right?
Yeah. I had to ban a few people. There were some people who were just like, man, you guys suck, which obviously ignored the beginning disclaimer that I gave. But, anybody who's just belligerent on that has been banned, so you won't get to see all the fun stuff that was posted there.
I know. I think we all get that, though.
Yeah, some people just play video games for fun, right?
Got us a lot of hits, though. So
there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, because even in the beginning of the Halo, you even mentioned like, hey, we're not professionals by all means at playing this, and it's funny that people still give you shit about it. It's weird.
Yeah, and we're not crazy Halo players, but somehow we had fun playing Halo. I don't know how that happened. But it's a fun game. Wow.
I think because you have your show's very professionally shot, and and the way it looks and all that. That I think whoever came in to check out the video, like these Halo fanboys, are like, oh, these guys are these are professionals, but they don't know how to play Halo. They don't realize that you can have a professional looking show and just be having fun playing Halo. Why does everybody have to be an expert?
The funny thing with this show is that it seems to have, I think it's kind of made me less of a hardcore gamer, because in order to produce Video Games Awesome, I'm constantly having to play games to the point of exhaustion. It's actually a chore now, keeping up with the next title to see if it's worth being on the show, first of all, or if it's going to be on the show, getting the ropes on the controllers so I don't waste an hour of production time figuring out how to get through the options or whatever. And because of that, I feel like I'm becoming an even more of a casual gamer, because I never get deep into any one game anymore. I can only it was, Red Dead Redemption, obviously I spent some extra time with that, but unless it's a blockbuster, I can't really give the time to it. I can't afford it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how many episodes do you create of that? Do you just make one a week? Is that how it's going right now? Exactly.
Video Games Awesome.
Yeah.
As of now, it's one a day or every other day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. It's what we do is I've been releasing multi-part episodes, like NBA Jam. I just released 3 days in a row, but it's a 7-minute episode followed by 2 3-minute episodes. So, I find that the people kind of like it in smaller bites like that too. And again, it, gets us a little bit extra ad revenue that way. So keeps the show going. So that's nice. Yeah.
That's what I've been trying to figure out with my channel, because sometimes I tend to babble on with some of my videos, and once it surpasses that 10-minute mark, it's sort of like, I'm sure a lot of people are not watching the full thing. So I've been considering, breaking it up into, 5-minute, 7-minute videos and releasing it over time, which I'm going to do at my Comic-Con, because I recorded an hour worth of stuff. I'm not going to put up an hour video. I'm not that crazy,
Yeah. You could start doing those jump cuts, like those crazy bloggers that every 2 seconds is a cut to them, in another expression or pose or whatever.
Oh God. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the kids like, right?
Fraser, are there any channels that you've kind of influenced you, or that you particularly like to watch, whether it's on YouTube or another site?
Well, it's kind of, I'm kind of ashamed to say that I don't really watch that much on YouTube, because I'm so busy. I can barely find any time. But I don't know, when it comes to inspiration for shows, gosh, I don't know. I'm inspired by the shows that are really making money and stuff like that. I love The Onion and stuff like that, seeing those online only productions and how they're doing. But I'm just inspired by my peers in general. I subscribe to a lot of channels now, and I try to keep tabs on what they're doing. And I'm just inspired by how everybody's moving forward, how we're all doing so well now. Sure. And it's, like I said before, the future is looking pretty bright for online video creators who are really passionate about what they're doing. And I think that most of my inspiration came from going down to PAX and meeting you guys, and meeting real people who really care about this stuff. and seeing how genuine and positive people they are after working in a vacuum for so long. Not by myself, with the guys, but really like I'm the one who's passionate about making this into a video show. Like they're just having fun, being happy, and like being idiots. But to meet other people who are passionate about making stuff like that is
that brings us into a really good thing. There's a lot of younger people that listen to our shows, listen to this podcast,
right?
And there's a lot of people out there that want to start their own show, and like a video game show or related show. Or fact, what advice would you give to anybody starting off?
Well, one of the biggest things is don't force it. First of all, like do something that you're genuinely interested in. And don't try to copy anything else. I mean, there's such thing as drawing inspiration from, and then there's just straight out emulation. And we've all seen those people usually don't go too far. But second is like, always you have to be constantly wanting to improve yourself. Like, I don't know if I should be the one speaking, because I mean, like, we're not the hugest channel and we've been at it for a long time, but I'm really proud of the quality of our show. But if you can be proud of what you're making, if you are really like, if you would watch your show, other people probably will, but there's more to it than that. Like, you have to look at it not from your perspective. You have to like look at it from the perspective of, you have to pretend to be somebody who doesn't know you or your friends. And if you can do that, then that advice holds true. If you would watch it, then probably there's other people like you who would watch it. So, but yeah, I'd say probably the biggest advice is you have to be sort of objective, and you've got to be kind of hard on yourself when it comes to editing, and really like keep on making it better and boiling it down and making it concise. Brevity is key. If you're not passionate about it though, give up, like stop it. That's my other advice. I it sounds mean, but if you don't have passion for what you're like, the process of it and the product that comes from video making, if you're just out for views or like notoriety, just because you want to like have people, recognize you or think you're, that guy from the internet that everybody admires, like, sure, that's great. Like when that happens, if that happens, but that can't be the only purpose. Like if you aren't passionate about video, like making videos, then you shouldn't do it.
I'm thinking like probably when you started making your show, you were looking on YouTube. Was there a lot of people making videos at that point? I'm thinking not that many, like video game related shows.
No, there wasn't. And it's funny that I didn't even know about James until it's funny because I think James is sort of the reason that a lot of people started making shows.
Yeah.
And he's probably been the inspiration for a lot of people, definitely. And he makes he makes an awesome show. I think it was just like me and him, really. Like I don't remember anything else out there for a long time.
Now it's just, now if you go on YouTube, there's so many gaming related shows and pickup videos. It's just like very flooded. So like your advice is try to be different, try to do something totally.
Yeah, do
don't
something
try to copy.
And the thing is, you don't have to do something that's completely different. I mean, you can't. If you followed that, to the T, then you wouldn't be able to make a video game review show. There's always going to be more video game review shows, but give it something, whether it be it might be gimmicky or something like that, or just or you can just go for a different angle or play a character or something like that. That's what a lot of people try to do, but give people a reason to watch it, because heck, there's a lot of video game stuff to watch, and they have to have a reason to be watching you.
And I think at the end of the day, and I think I speak for all of us here, is that it comes down to the content. If you've got content, and you nailed it. I mean, you got to be passionate about it and really want to do it, and something that just kind of comes out of you naturally. I think you got yourself a hit there for sure.
Yeah, the quality will come if you really are truly passionate about it. There's no doubt about it.
How did you get involved with the guy in the glasses? You kind of mentioned that briefly. The website. How long have you been on that website?
Let's see. How did I get started with them? Do you guys know Still Gaming? Sasha Nyen is his name on YouTube. He actually contacted me because he was a fan of the show, and he asked if I would be interested in being on That Guy with the Glasses, and he produces content for them. And basically, he just said, "I think that they should have you on the website." So he told them to contact me, and they did. That's basically it.
Awesome.
So do you create exclusive content for them?
No, it's not. That Guy with the Glasses is interesting because when I first was getting into it, I was thinking that that's what they would want or something like that. And I was even prepared to, and I did actually give them sort of temporary exclusivity on some episodes, was telling people, our fans, to go there for episodes that would be there for a week ahead of time and stuff like that. And I'm still going to keep doing that from time to time whenever the episodes are not too time sensitive, because, I want to get the really big titles out on YouTube right away. But anyways, no, they don't really care about that. And their audience, surprisingly, doesn't really care about YouTube. A lot of them, a lot of That Guy with the Glasses people are very about that community. And it's kind of humbling because I'm not really a part of the community there. I wish I had the time, but they embraced us, and I was happy for that. They're a different kind of audience, and it's really refreshing. They're very different from the YouTube audience, and it was really easy to find a foothold there.
Yeah. Doesn't he do a lot with Blip TV and all that? And then kind of where he does all his videos?
Yeah, that's how that's the benefit of that site, is they have huge numbers. It's really impressive how much they've gotten over the last, it's only been 2 years since he started out, and they're getting huge hits. And yeah, we use, all the content producers use Blip because, fact of the matter is that's one of the best CPMs, money that you can get through advertising as a content creator. The only bad thing is that nobody will watch your video through Blip. They're only going to watch your video wherever you put it. So if you're not putting it on That Guy with the Glasses or a big site like that, you're not going to get much ad revenue. Yeah. But because of that, and because their audience, their user base is really, they accept pre-rolls, and they understand that it's supporting the creators, and they also know that the show they're about to watch is quality. Usually on That Guy with the Glasses, it's a show that they know. They're willing to support us.
Yes. Are you doing all this full time now, or do you have a job, like a day job?
This has been full time for me for the last about 4 years.
Wow.
So yeah, started 6 years ago, and it was just kind of like a side thing then. And I'll tell you, it's not making me that much money. And it certainly wouldn't be enough money to live on if it wasn't for my amazing girlfriend. We've been together for I guess almost 10 years or something now. Wow. And she's been supporting me all the way through because she believes in the show more than anybody else. And
that's awesome.
Everybody can thank, any fans of the show should always thank her, because it would have never happened if it wasn't for her. So she's the executive producer, I guess you could say.
Nice.
Yeah, this is for the first time, I think I'm starting to actually look at real income for the show. Nice. And it's mainly thanks to Video Games Awesome and the new ads on YouTube, like pre-rolls and stuff. As much as people might despise them, things are actually looking good for content producers on YouTube. So, if you're a YouTuber, just it's supporting the content you love.
Yeah.
Well said.
Well said. Mm-hmm.
And when really, if you want to nitpick, how long are the pre-roll? Like sometimes 15 seconds, sometimes 30 seconds. Most of our shows are like between 5 and 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
5 to 10 minutes of TV. How many seconds of commercials have you watched?
That's true.
Like, a heck of a lot more than 30 seconds. And I think YouTube has an actual thing where you'll never watch a pre-roll more than 7 seconds apart, 7 minutes apart. So if you've seen a pre-roll, YouTube makes sure you won't see another one for 7 minutes. So there's nothing
That's
really
pretty
to
awesome.
complain about.
Even that, it's like they're looking out for the watcher, It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, the YouTube doesn't want to piss you off. And everybody's going to get used to watching pre-rolls. I'll admit, pre-rolls suck if you're clicking on a cat video or if you're looking at a trailer of a game that's going to last for 45 seconds and you have to watch a 30-second commercial. That's ridiculous. But when you're watching, a show that you're subscribed to that you're about to be entertained for the next 5 minutes, who cares?
True. Very true.
Exactly.
I want to talk about Enslaved. I don't know if anybody's been playing that. Enslaved is probably
I haven't played it.
Oh, it's so much fun. And it's like, okay, to me, you might, if you've seen the Alan Wake episode of our show, you'll know that facial animation and voice acting is extremely important to me. And I kind of joked that Alan Wake had Keanu Reeves playing every character.
That's funny.
Because of just how mannequin-esque everything was. And it turned what could have been a phenomenal game into just sort of better than good game, but not quite great. But anyways, Enslaved is just like the facial expressions are so believable. And the relationship between the two main characters is really like, it doesn't seem forced or contrived. And it's funny that my positive review of a game is saying how it's not bad, but really when it comes to games nowadays, it's sometimes surprising when things don't seem hackneyed or ridiculous when it comes to story and the actors. But it is a fun game. It is, and it's really like adrenaline pumping too. It's like you feel like you're really in that moment, like you're grasped in it.
That's cool.
So
I thought Heavy Rain did a good job with the voice acting and animation.
I never got to check that out.
Definitely check the game out. It's really fun. Now you can play it with the Move too, which is kind of weird, but
oh jeez.
But yeah, it's a good game for sure.
I mean, just thinking about Heavy Rain, like I'm trying to think because I'm going to have to do. I'm looking forward to it, trying to put together my list for like top 10 games of 2010. But just looking back, like it goes all the way back to Bayonetta, and like that was a great game. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, there's so many other great games coming up this year. How the hell am I going to put together a top 10? I might have to do a top 20. Top 20.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
This has been a really big year for games.
Yeah, and this month coming up, like October, November, there's a lot of good games coming out.
Yeah, just these 2 months. It's been insane.
Yeah, and I wonder, Pete, are you going to consider Deadly Premonition on that list?
I haven't played that game yet.
You have to play that game.
I've heard such different things about it that I kind of want to play.
Everyone has to play that game.
I've seen it get like 10 out of 10 reviews, and then I see like 3 out of 10, and it's only like $20. Well, actually, can you explain like what's the basic idea behind that game?
So it's supposed to be, it's a survival horror game. And, but that is like probably the worst part about it. The survival horror aspect and the actual gameplay where you're shooting the enemies and the zombies or whatever they are in this game. It's probably its Achilles heel. It's, if you can get past that part, the game is really just like it's kind of like an RPG. Because the meat of the game and the best parts that everybody likes from the game is just the talking and the just random arbitrary missions. And so you're in sort of like, it's as close to a video game representation of Twin Peaks as anybody has ever come. And which is funny because Alan Wake just recently tried really hard and failed, in my opinion, because I'm a huge Twin Peaks fan. But I don't know if you guys are a fan of Twin Peaks. Have you seen the series?
I watched a bit of it. I never got too hardcore into it, but I did watch a bit of it. It was interesting.
Never watched it. No.
Okay. Well, even if you haven't watched it, the thing is, it's quirky. It's weird. It's got a lot of, it feels like it has a lot of heart because of its rough edges. It was developed by a small studio, and but that's no excuse for like any like shortcomings, really. I guess like But the thing is, it's not lazy either. Like the shortcomings are just sometimes in polish, or like just that you can tell that they didn't have like a huge budget to like have cutting edge graphics or gameplay, but it's still a very competent title, and people are just I think that when they give it a bad review, they're trying to judge it on standards that probably aren't fair. And they're also judging it. Sometimes they don't understand. They don't like the humor. I won't say they don't understand, because that's a really insulting thing to say to a reviewer, that they didn't understand something. But I think that it's just not everybody's cup of tea. But if you like quirky things, if you like weird, if you're a fan of Earthbound and games like that that have an odd sense of humor, you'll definitely like Deadly Premonition. It's an experience. But the biggest advice is that you play it on easy, and you use at least a walkthrough for the first bit that tells you how to get started.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, why is that? Like, what happens if you play on normal?
Well, normal is easy. It's still pretty easy. It's just kind of monotonous. Like it's better to, like I said, like it's the actual survival horror part where you're shooting things. Like it's not really that much fun. It's nice that it adds a little atmosphere to it. But you could take those out completely, and I think that the game would still be phenomenal. That's how cool, like how good everything else is. And I don't know. Well, basically when I say like read a tutorial first, I mean like, I'd say the number one tip is that you get the radio. And it's just, all it means is that it's just one of the early side quests that you do. And if you don't know to do it right away, you won't get the radio, and the radio just transports you instantly to locations, because you radio the police department and they come and they take you to a place. So it just really sort of takes out a lot of the monotony of traveling. And there's a little bit of monotony, but that's usually sort of made better because the protagonist talks to you as he drives. He has like idle conversations about old horror movies with you and stuff.
Now I gotta
that's
get
an example of how weird the game is. He always refers to you as Zach. He says like, "How about that, Zach?" Or "Don't you think so, Zach?" And he says this in front of the people in this town too. They hear him talking to you. Like and they kind of look at him weird, and he's an FBI agent. So like it's you have to really, it's got a really je ne sais quoi to it.
I think Teeth's getting interested.
You have to play it.
Yeah, I think you've convinced me on this game, and I'm not a huge survival horror fan, but I think this is a game I might be interested in. Especially because I could get it for under $20.
I was going to say,
and it's not a
go ahead.
It's not a survival horror game to me. Like, I don't think it's a survival horror game. That's what genre it's in, just because of those gameplay pieces. But I don't think it has a genre. If you were to take that part out, it's just sort of, I don't know. It's different.
Have you been playing anything else besides Enslaved at all?
Oh, well, I've been playing everything, like at least for a little bit. We've been playing NBA Jam. I don't know if you guys have checked that out yet.
I plan on getting it very soon, actually this week, and I'm a big fan of the original. I played it at PAX, and I liked it.
Yeah, we've been talking about it since PAX, for sure.
I'm not a big fan of the controls for the Wii, though. Like how it seemed kind of weird. Maybe it was just because I only played it for 5 minutes, but...
they grow on you.
Do they? Okay.
I honestly thought that I would end up throwing that aside and like just going with the classic controller and buttons, but there is something about the feel of raising the Wiimote to go for a shot and then dropping it. Like it gets, when you're with a group of people, it really gets you all into it.
Can you play online? Because I know we were talking about that the other day. I wasn't sure if I'm not sure if you can on the Wii version. I don't think you can on the Wii version. I think you will be able to on the new ones coming out on the 360.
I didn't know that. Sorry, there's one coming out on a 360?
Yeah, it was originally supposed to be a title that was bundled with, I think it was NBA 2011 or something like that. Or no, NBA Elite or something.
Wow.
This NBA game. Anyways, it was supposed to be bundled with it because I think that they were worried that they wouldn't sell any of this title. And they've ended up canceling the release of it because the demo, I think, did terribly. Like they sent out a beta or something and everybody found so many bugs and it got terrible reviews or something. So they canceled the game. And so NBA Jam, which was supposed to come free with that game, which they thought would be the only reason that people would buy that game, is left, without a home. So they've decided to make it into a full release. That's and nice. They're trying to get it out for Christmas.
Oh, so it's not even download. It's not a DLC. It's just a actual game, like a disc.
I'm not sure actually. I think they might actually. It might end up being DLC for the Xbox 360. Yeah. But yeah, on the Wii, it's a full retail.
It's really
box.
funny they decided to take a staple franchise title like NBA Jam and try to sneak it in there for that. Like, come on, people. It's NBA Jam, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I think that they were trying to do that because of maybe some sort of exclusivity deal with Wii. So, like, if they didn't make it an actual release, if they just gave it away, they got around it maybe or something to the 360. That was their way of getting it on the 360 maybe. I don't know. That's speculation.
Yeah, I saw your review on it, and it was pretty funny. And definitely, I mean, I was sold on the game before, but it definitely makes me have the itch to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, NBA Jam, come on. That was the only sports game I liked as a kid. Like, that was because it wasn't a sports game.
You guys were playing as like Beastie Boys and stuff. It was like, really? It's hilarious. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I hope that, I doubt it, but I would like it if Will Smith could be unlocked in it, just like the original.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's Will and DJ Jazzy Jeff.
That's right. I remember that.
But I hear Obama is actually unlockable.
Really?
And Obama and Bush is unlockable along with their wives, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
I know that at least Obama's wife, it might be Bush and Condoleezza Rice or something like that. I think Cheney's also in there.
Wow.
They've got, you can unlock all the bosses, I guess. We just unlocked Shaq. What was the other things? They had, you can still play as mascots, I think. Like, you unlock the mascots. I don't know which ones.
That was Jack.
But yeah,
Jack Nicklaus.
There's lots of
Jack Nicklaus in the crowd in the LA game when you were at Lakers, or I know you guys were.
No, that was a joke. I was just joking.
I was watching that. I was like, I didn't see that, but
gives a new meaning to let's settle us on the court with all that political stuff going on.
Yeah, I think that's how you actually unlock them. You can unlock the Democrats and the Republicans. And they play on their own teams. Yeah,
that's probably the best part of NBA Jam and stuff.
Yeah, well, remember
NBA Jam is always never taken itself seriously. Right?
Can you create your own character?
No, I wish you could, because the way they have those faces on there, right? Like, it's just pictures. So it would be so cool if you could put your face in there or something. Like,
that'd be awesome.
Oh, it would be so amazing. Like, just take a picture of your face from multiple angles and put it into the game. Oh, it would be so cool.
Rainbow Six Vegas 2, if anyone's ever played that. Have you guys played that at all?
Yeah, I played it, yeah.
That the multiplayer does have that. You can take a picture with from your webcam, and it puts your face on your character so that when you play online, everyone can see that. I've actually done that quite a bit.
Yeah.
So your friends can actually shoot you in the face.
Yeah, and they feel good about it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
If the Wii had a webcam or something, that would be sweet to do that.
That's true.
I imagine you guys have been talking about the Kinect and the move.
Yeah, we have. We brought it up a couple times on the podcast. It's I'm not sold on the Kinect, but I might end up getting it anyway. Just I don't know. So
I have the delightful excuse of getting both for the show.
Sure.
If not at least borrowed from someone. I might have to talk to Game Deals about that or something.
Yeah,
I think I want to own these things.
Well, it's interesting. We were kind of mentioning this a couple times that Sony and Microsoft are really going into the motionless, like, kind of the Wii, copying the Wii. And the Wii is games are coming out are more classic controller games. Donkey Kong Country Returns, GoldenEye, all these classic games coming out. So they've kind of flip-flopped. It's kind of interesting, but I'm impressed by some of the games coming out for the Wii fourth quarter.
Yeah, they really brought
next
it at
week.
E3.
Next week, yeah. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Wait.
Yeah, it's and when it comes to the Move, I don't know if you saw our episode on that. I think we were making fun of it a bit, and also, my opinion on the Move has always been that if somebody owns a Wii already, they're not the kind of person who's going to buy a PlayStation. And I think that that's what PlayStation's hoping for, is to get that market. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that there's many people left out there who don't have a Wii who would have wanted one. So they're not even, I don't even think they're going to get those guys like that we're going to buy a Wii and say, hey, what about PlayStation? They have these controllers now too. So like, I think that they have shaky ground in the market, but after looking at the move for a while, like I think that it's actually kind of cool. Like I kind of like the idea of Wii like motion controls on a system that's HD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't even own a PlayStation, but I have to tell you, I've been pining for the days of a Wii HD. I was hoping for one by now. But yeah, that's my the biggest thing on my wish list is an HD system that has motion controls.
How about a Wii 3D?
Yeah, I think everybody agrees that the Wii is not the most beautiful looking system, obviously. So yeah, we're all waiting for that. To me. What's that?
It's funny because I used to have a standard definition television, until like 2 years ago, and then when I upgraded, I realized that wow, like, geez, I want to only play HD games now.
I felt really bad. I remember when I first hooked my Wii up and with component cables on my high definition TV, and I'm like, maybe I got to adjust my TV. I felt really bad. Yeah, because I've always liked Nintendo, but I was like, man, this is kind of. And I'm not a graphics whore, not at all. Yeah. But I was like, man, this is not really.
It's funny because it's funny where it doesn't matter on some games. Like I could play Mario Galaxy and I don't even notice the difference because it's all cartoonish, right? Like I don't really need Mario Galaxy HD. But even when you're playing something like NBA Jam, it's a real shame that you can't make out the players' faces that well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it'd really be nice to be able to see all the detail and stuff because you can tell it's there. They have it, but it's just not coming through at 480p.
Yeah, I think we got spoiled. I used to playing some games in high definition, and then all of a sudden the Wii comes out and it's like, oh, okay, I love the motion control, but yeah, the graphics took a little bit of a hit, and it was just the Wii would have been really awesome. Like I like the Wii, I like it, but I would have loved it if it came out in high def. God damn it!
I was hoping
can't wait for next generation.
Yeah, Nintendo's next. System
the guys who created the Dolphin system, or the Dolphin emulator. Well, you'll know, Jason, right? So they discovered that Wii games can be rendered in HD. Like they did Super Smash Bros. And New Super Mario Bros. Wii in HD. And of course, the Dolphin emulator doesn't run perfectly, but they are able to get some like little bits of gameplay, and it looks awesome. But it shows it's sort of a proof of concept. You can run these games backwards as HD, and I had some hope after seeing that maybe they would do that, like release an HD system, an HD Wii that you could play all the existing HD games. Of course, textures won't upgrade. They won't make textures higher resolution, but at least vector-based graphics would become higher resolution.
Mm-hmm. Well, Nintendo, we've been talking about this for quite some time. Nintendo's always been real smart with their marketing, with how they space things out, how they plan things out. I mean, don't you guys think that?
Like Apple.
Yeah, exactly. And they've always had kind of that quality control issue, and so I think in the future, we're in for something, on a console from them. I think we're in for another treat, really.
Can I make a prediction on what Nintendo's next system is going to be about? Wii 3D.
Wii 3D.
If they can do the 3D without glasses or without a 3D TV, if they can do that, because that's Nintendo's way of doing it. I think they would.
I mean, I know there's coming out with TVs. 3D TVs are going to be without glasses later next year. So the technology is getting there. Obviously, you get the 3DS coming out. That's going to be without glasses. So I think the technology is going to be there. But you can definitely do the HD there as well. But that'd be kind of cool, like a HD 3D Wii.
I'm not. I don't think it'll happen. Maybe it's because I don't want or I don't care that if it will happen or not. I really don't care about 3D. I don't think that Nintendo has that much vested in 3D in the living room. I know that Sony does because of their televisions.
Sure.
But the other thing is, I don't think it's possible to do 3D without a 3D television. At least you need either glasses or a television or both. And because of that, I don't think Nintendo will be interested.
That's true.
Yeah.
there will be some TVs coming out where you don't need glasses, but the limitation of those, from what I've heard, is that you have to be extremely close to it. Or the TV has to be ridiculously big because it has to affect your eyes. The same way that the 3DS is able to do it is because you're so close to the screen that the bifocal vision, or whatever you call it, I don't know what it is, but it's able to work because of your proximity to it. And so that's an inhibiting factor when it comes to glasses-less TV.
Yeah, for sure. I totally see that as well. I'm curious. They'll have to come out with something, though. They'll have to come out with something.
I think the million-dollar question is: will the casual gamers for the Wii carry over to the new Nintendo console?
Of course.
Yes and no. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
It's hard to think of a sell factor for the next system when it comes to those people.
Yeah, like what's coming out? Like, what is it going to be? You know, what's going to be the nail, the hammer on the nail? You know,
I mean, if the casual gamers, like the moms and young kids for the Wii, then are those people really going to go out and get a new Nintendo system?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that.
It's hard for me to.
They won't see the reason. It was easy to sell them the Wii because you can see how this is doing something that's never been done before. Right. But how will you do that with the next incremental upgrade?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we're already 4 years down the road now in its life, and we're seeing a 3DS. We're seeing them take a turn to go there on the handhelds. We haven't heard anything on the console side, so they're definitely letting the Wii do its thing. You know what I'm saying?
We're reaching the 5th year for Xbox.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is.
And you look at the DS, and they're upgrading it. They're making the XL. They're making the 3DS. It makes me. That's why I want to believe that maybe with the Wii they might try to do the same thing instead of come out with a new console itself. Maybe upgrade the Wii and make it different. Maybe make it HD or something that maybe people will want to go out and get it rather than just an all new platform of games. It's hard to know.
It's actually funny that we think that it needs an absolute sell factor when you look at the handheld systems. Does it really look like there's that big of a difference between the DS, DS Lite, the DSi, the DSi XL, and yet Nintendo's able to sell those like hotcakes, and it's not even that much less than a Wii.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good
It's
point.
like, here's a camera. Boom,
Yeah. So maybe Nintendo's hoping that and it's not a hugely different demographic either. Like the handheld gamers are, in essence, casual gamers. My mom has a pink one.
I mean, people like me, I bought the original Game Boy Advance. I bought the Game Boy SP. I bought the Game Boy Micro. I bought the original DS. I bought the DS Lite, the DSi, the DSi XL, and I'm going to buy
you're free.
Yeah, but still, like, just an example, like, just those little improvements, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
No, I'm the same as Pete. I bought every single one as well, and I'm a freak as well. I
don't think we can apply ourselves to this discussion of the casual market.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think they're going to do 3D in the next console, though. I think they're kind of waiting. They're playing their cards right. They're waiting to see what Sony does with that, how it goes, and they're gonna come out at the right time with some new innovation. I wouldn't be surprised, though. Yeah, go ahead.
I think 3D is going to fail, at least as we know it right now.
Yeah,
I just don't see it being a big deal.
Did you, Fraser? Did you have an opportunity to play like Gran Turismo 4 or is it 5? Gran Turismo 5 in 3D. Did you play that?
No, I haven't. Is it mind-blowing?
Well, they had you sit down in this chair and the steering wheel was kind of cool, but honestly, the game looked awesome, but the 3D was blah. It was
that's the thing, okay? Everybody I talk to who's had a 3D experience, whether it be through a game like that on a show floor, or if they're telling me about like the newest 3D movie they went to see, it's always like a mixture of either not worth the money or blah, or like, it was okay. It was good. Or like, if 3D is at a point where it's the revolution, the next step in media, people should be, through word of mouth, you should be hearing nothing but, oh my God, you have to go see this 3D movie, or like, it's amazing. Like, it would be all over the news about how 3D is the next big thing, instead of, ad copy on the news that talks about how this company says it's the next big thing.
Well, Fraser, what did you watch? I guess you watched Avatar in the theaters, right?
Yeah.
Now, we don't have to go into your the opinion of the movie if we liked it or disliked it. What did you think about the 3D in that?
I was underwhelmed. Like I mean, it was cool. I didn't want to watch much more after that. Like I didn't want to watch another 3D movie. I don't know. It's maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just cynical about the whole thing. I just don't think it's that big a deal.
That's wild because I had the exact opposite reaction. I saw Avatar and I thought the 3D was so stunning, like nothing I'd ever seen. That actually, I was like, I want to see more 3D. I really did. And I'm not saying to like, I'm not running out and buying a 3D TV. I actually have friends who have 3D TVs and they tell me that they're cool. And I say, oh, okay, sure. That's cool. I'll come over for a demo one time, but I'm not going to buy a TV, but I think it's cool. You're right. It might just be a fad. It might come and go like that. You know, like in another year, we don't hear anything more about it.
The thing is, the 3D doesn't feel real either. Like it doesn't feel right. It still feels a little bit like weird and blurry, kind of like
like Jaws in 3D back in the day with the green.
It's come a long way. It's come a lot further than that.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's still, I don't know. It's not perfect.
It's just an excuse for the industry to really charge more money for tickets is what it boils down to. I mean, I saw a preview for Jackass in 3D coming out. I mean, are you serious?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Jackass in 3D? Why would you want to go see some guy like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've watched Jackass before, but like, why would you want to see that in 3D? You know, it's just,
that's stupid.
That's a Jackass move right there.
It's novelty. Yeah. It gets a certain audience in, right? That gets the teenage kids in. That's what that's all about.
It's definitely
to tell you the truth, all this talk about 3D just really makes me want to play my Virtual Boy. I don't know about you guys.
I love the Virtual Boy.
I do too, and I'm not joking.
I mean,
that wasn't a joke. Like after E3 and they're announcing the 3DS, you know what I did? I pulled out my Virtual Boy and I played some Mario Tennis.
What's funny is the value of the Virtual Boy is like tripled in the last year or two.
Yeah.
People are like, it's so hot right now because people want to get it because of the whole 3D fad. It's pretty funny.
That.
Yeah.
Thank God I got all my games for it before then, I'll tell you that much.
Totally.
You gotta like really hand it to Nintendo. That was it was ambitious, and at least you have to hand it to them for the ambition.
Yeah, true.
And a lot of the games were really solid too. It's just that nobody wanted to have that headache.
Yeah. Well, it just was kind of awkward playing because you had to kind of sit down or lay down, or if it strapped to your head, it would be one thing. But it was really awkward and bulky, and it was kind of.
I think they learned their lesson from that. They're a little more pensive with their releases.
The controller is probably the most awkward controller with the two directional pads, and just it was really weird in design.
But
only like one or two games used the two
I will
pads,
say though, in the controller's defense, I think it was one of Nintendo's most comfortable controllers.
I like the 64 controller.
I would have to say the GameCube.
Well,
is my favorite.
I said one of. GameCube is number one for sure.
For me, it's Wiimote and Nunchuck.
I like the IQ. It's obscure.
There's nothing like being able to play a game with your hands laying at both sides of you.
It's true.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
It's so relaxing. And you can just sit there and feel yourself getting fatter.
Yeah. What else are people playing?
This was a section about games we're playing.
Right.
Well, what everybody doesn't know is that we actually recorded an episode last night, and we talked about games we were playing last night. So we're kind of like, we haven't been playing anything differently since last night. Only Fraser could bring something new to the conversation.
What do you guys think of? This Retro City Rampage?
Oh,
I've heard good things. I hadn't looked into it too much.
Nope,
it's out now, or is it coming out?
It's coming out in the next while for the Wii, and he wants to bring it to other systems. But yeah, we hooked up with that guy. He's in Vancouver, the developer of it, and he's a really great guy, really nice guy. But I mean, that game is just it just pulls at anybody who played games on the early systems. There's no way you're going to be able to deny its draw. Like,
so what is it? What is it about?
Explain it.
So Retro City Rampage is it looks like when you look at it for the first time, you're thinking Grand Theft Auto, the originals, 1 and 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. The top down sure. Driving around. Yeah. It looks like Grand Theft Auto, and in fact, he had actually originally developed a demake for the NES, a Grand Theft Auto game. And that was a long time ago, just on his spare time, just for fun. But he's been in the gaming industry for a while, and so he made this game. So basically, yeah, it looks like Grand Theft Auto with NES graphics, and it's all pixelated and stuff, and it's just this huge amalgamation of retro game references and gameplay, all boiled in or like put into one pot and stirred up, and it's a nostalgia feast. And that's basically it. Yeah, it's just missions, just like the old Grand Theft Auto.
Cool. It's a DLC, or is that actual game?
Yes, it will be DLC.
Nice.
Yeah, and
so this guy in Vancouver just created it in his basement, kind of thing, or?
Well, he actually has offices now, because he's actually the game's becoming kind of a big deal. He's got staff helping him with the sound and stuff like that, and. But yeah, like it's a one-man programming job from what I think I got that right. Yeah. And, he, a lot of passion for it and a lot of passion for gaming. And we're actually going to be having him on, the show soon, to play some of the games that inspired him to make, his new game.
Cool.
I was just going to say, like, that'd be great to have on the show, and that's awesome that he's lined up. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'll tell him about it. Yeah. But, yeah, he's just a really genuinely, like, a lot like us. Like, he grew up with all these games and desperately loves them, and this is his homage to them. And this game, I swear, is going to become huge.
Yeah, well, I'll have to.
I heard about it at PAX when I was there. I've heard rumblings about it, so that's cool.
It's getting a lot. Well, it won the PAX 10, right? It ended up being number one out of the 10 of them.
Wow.
And it's getting a lot of hype on the blogs and stuff like that now. It's starting to, get a lot of hype building about
Excellent.
it.
Have you played the new Castlevania at all, Fraser?
No. I actually was going to. How long ago did that come out? Like a month or so?
No, a couple weeks
maybe
ago. Week ago, actually.
Couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Week and a half about, yeah.
So what I'd been hearing, I think I read some of the reviews, and it was saying that the multiplayer or something wasn't
I'm talking about Lords of Shadow, the console one.
Okay,
not
that's
Harmony of Despair. Yeah.
Oh, they're different. Lords of Shadow it's not a 2D scroller then.
No. Yeah, Lords of Shadow is the God of War-esque.
Oh, Lords of the Shadow is that one that had that huge trailer that went on for like 9 minutes.
Yeah, filled with spoilers.
It looks pretty cool.
I'd recommend it though. Yeah, if you're into action games, I was talking about it last episode. It's awesome. Like it's God of War with Castlevania.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was about to say, like gameplay wise, it looks kind of like God of War, like epic, insane, like over the top battles.
You know, the game is getting such mixed reviews. I don't like. I got Pete and Rob Man are telling me, this game is amazing and all this, and then a friend of mine at work who's a real hardcore gamer. Picked it up and I said, "Oh, how are you liking it?" And he's like, "I hate it." And I'm like, "You hate it?" Like, he's like, "Oh, I just don't like anything about it. I don't like the way you can't control the camera." And he just rambled on this huge list, and I stood there and I was like, "Damn, like I don't know what to do about this game."
But is he like a series veteran? Like, is he a big Castlevania fan? Because I think that's the thing there.
That's a good point. He's more of a modern gamer. So he goes out and buys the Halo Reach, and like the day it comes out and plays the heck out of it. And he buys a lot of the newer games. And I said, isn't this kind of game like God of War? If people like God of War, then they'll like this game. He's like, no, but God of War is a better game. And I was just like, yeah, and he's not an old school Castlevania fan, but this game's so different than the old school Castlevanias too, right?
It's definitely just intellectual property used for a new game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, God of War might be a better game, but look at it like this. Think of like the Super Mario games. Are those the best platformers out there? Possibly it's arguable, but are you going to only play Mario games? No, you're going to play the less, I guess, quote, fun platformers that aren't Mario games. It doesn't mean you should play Castlevania.
The same goes with movies. Just because, this movie's not as good as the last movie you watched or something doesn't mean you hate it.
Yeah, exactly. So it was such strange mixed reviews of this game. I'm kind of in the middle. I don't know which way to go on it. I'm thinking maybe I'll wait for it to get a bit cheaper. I'm
just watching a trailer on it right now. This looks gorgeous.
It is.
It's one of the best looking games I've seen this generation. Like it's really, really, really nice looking.
It's amazing.
The only complaints, the detail in the game is great. The only complaints I really have with it are like you brought up, Johnny. That guy said the camera, you can't control it, so there can be problems. Really, it's just a lot of the gameplay in terms of the platforming is the only problem I've found with it so far. Everything else I like.
As long as the hack and slashing doesn't get too repetitive, I'm happy with it.
I'm constantly unlocking new moves and everything, so it's kind of keeping it from getting kind of boring.
My other problem with hack and slashes is where you have an abundance of moves, but each one just seems powerful enough to win the game. So it doesn't matter, what strategy you use or like.
Yeah, it's true.
You can just like, press the same button the whole time or try to remember all the moves or whatever you want. That's the challenge with hack and slashes is balancing that gameplay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have kind of felt like that sometimes where they constantly throw so many combos at you. It's like, well, am I really ever going to have to use this combo,
Yeah, that was my problem with Bayonetta too. I never felt like I was actually strategically using the moves. I was just using the ones that I felt like using at the time.
But that game was just so much fun. I love Bayonetta. Like it was just so crazy. Like sometimes I would just button mash to see what the hell happened. And I'd be like, "Holy shit, that was awesome!"
It's very nice.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame that game's not going to get the recognition it deserves because it came out in January. So unfortunately, probably a lot of the top game lists for 2010, people are going to forget about it.
Yeah. It's funny, the game industry kind of works like the movie industry. You release games at a certain time in order to get an Academy bid or like, a bid for the awards.
It's good. It's true point. Yeah.
I'm on my way to play Comic Jumper after this.
Oh, yeah. Have you played it at all yet, or you're going to pick it up?
No, yeah. I'm looking forward to it, though. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Damn, it sucks, too, because I want to get Sonic, and it's like, am I really... I guess I'll finish Sonic pretty fast, because it's only, 12 stages or something. That comes out tonight for 360. I think I'm gonna camp my 360 tonight and wait for the launch of that, which is like 5 or 6 in the morning.
We might actually.
It's out on the PS3. It's out on the PS3 right now, and it's out.
Why not get it on the PS3 then?
That's a good question.
Achievements?
I can't really... No, I don't even care about achievements anymore. I kind of just have this sense of community. Like when I go on my 360, it's like I kind of feel like I'm playing games with people, even though I'm not, only because I'm signed into Xbox Live. Whereas PS3, I kind of don't have that connection with PS3. It just feels... I feel disconnected from the online. I don't get me wrong. I'm not like hating on the online of the PS3. I just don't feel connected as I do on the 360. It's really hard for me to explain.
How long has it been out on the PS3?
It came out today.
All right. Oh, okay. It came out today, and then it's coming out to tomorrow on the 360.
Arcade games or whatever get released on the Wii on Mondays, and then Tuesdays for the PS3, and then
I see. So they're basically all launching at the same time.
Basically, yeah. But Comic Jumper. For real quick for people that don't know, that's from the creators of the Maw and Explosion Man. It's a pretty unique platformer that you basically jump throughout different art styles, right? And like you'd go from it's kind of a blend between a Panzer Dragoon and a platformer game. Like that's crazy from the videos I've watched, and it switches throughout all these art styles, mimicking different comic styles. So like manga and like DC comic style comic art. Like it's pretty unique,
and it's wacky too. It's from the creators of Explosion Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Twisted Pixel. Which is just, it looks like ridiculous humor and stuff like that.
So, guys, I think we're going to close it off there with the games we've been playing recently, because honestly, since we just recorded an episode last week, because we're trying to get an episode ahead of time here, so it gives Jason, a full week to edit episodes. None of us, besides, Fraser, have played any games within the past 24 hours. So we're going to skip right on over to this segment of the show where we answer your questions. And I just want to address this now. Questions are starting to slow down a little bit on the forums in terms of you guys getting on there and asking us, which isn't, it's not going to be too much of a problem right now because we do have a lot of questions we can go back and choose. However, I do want to let you guys know that we're going to open up an email to let you guys send in voicemail questions or, audio questions. And how that's going to work is you're going to have to, record it some way in an audio program or however you want to do it, and then just save it as some kind of audio file, preferably as an MP3. And you're going to send that over to contact@allgengamers.com. So you're going to email us that audio clip of your question and we'll play it on the show. Now, of course, we're not going to be able to play every audio question that we receive, but we will try our best to get around to playing and answering the best ones that we feel that we get on a weekly basis. So if you were, if you kind of want to voice your questions instead of typing them out, I think a lot of people will prefer this method, and it's a way of getting you onto the show more than just us reading your name off. So let me get onto the question that we picked out here, and it's from Muragaru553, and it's, what is the hardest game that you have played yet was still enjoyable for you to play? And let's start with Fraser. What's your answer?
I think that it would have to be, at least in recent memory, is Bit Trip Runner, where the difficulty level may have actually been to its detriment, because a lot of reviewers were split. They either loved the game or they loved it but had the caveat that it was too difficult and that there's not checkpoints throughout the level, and that you have to be so precise with your jumps that it makes it unfun. But I found it quite the contrary. I thought that the reward that came from doing a level properly after so many retries was just enough to outweigh that. But that's, Bit Trip Runner by the Bit Trip guys at Axis Games. Definitely
what was that? What's the basic concept behind the game? Like, what do you got to do?
So Bit Trip Runner is like, it's a platformer where you only use the jump button. So it's, and everything's kind of rhythm based. Everything goes to a song. So every obstacle that you jump over, or actually, I was wrong. You also can duck in the game as well. But so every obstacle that you pass has some sort of a musical note or beat to go along with the song. So you're aided by that, because even though you have to be so precise with your jumps and stuff, you can, once you get that feel for the music, then you can actually, it really helps you along. But yeah, anyways, your guy is automatically running, so you're just jumping to make sure that he avoids the obstacles.
It sounds like the unicorn game that Johnny was playing, the iTouch or iPod. It's cool though. Yeah.
And I forgot to mention, it's actually in an old Atari style.
Game, yeah. I was thinking about that game, yeah.
But with music, that sounds like a really intriguing game. What system was that for?
Well, it's for the Nintendo Wii, and it looks as though it's something off the Commodore 64 or the Atari, but it's like a contemporary version of those kinds of graphics.
Wow, cool.
And the whole Bit Trip series is amazing.
And it's a downloadable only game on the WiiWare, right?
Yeah, and that's and the series also has a game called Bit Trip Beat, which is like a Pong type of game. And it has a couple other games, Bit Trip Void and another one, but that entire series is worth checking out. It's got some unforgiving difficulty, but a huge fan following that's worth checking out.
I guess I'll go next. Let me go retro here. Throw it back to Battletoads for the NES.
Yes, sir.
That game.
How could you enjoy that?
It's a fun. I enjoy it. It's fun. The graphic. Rare did a great job with that game, but man, that game is like near impossible to play.
It's so
brutal. So that's just kind of the first game that popped in my head. It's kind of a difficult question, but
you're probably the type of guy who likes Mega Man, though, too.
I do like Mega Man, absolutely.
Yeah.
And those are challenging games, or even the Adventure Island games are super challenging.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass the baton to Jason. How about you, buddy?
How about Out of This World for the Super Nintendo?
Oh yeah,
You guys ever play that one?
Oh yeah, I did a live stream of that. God damn, people will watch me die so many times. It's a lot of trial and error, but it's so much fun.
What's the sequel to that one? There's like a sequel to it, isn't there?
Flashback.
Flashback, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another great.
Wait, that's a direct sequel to Out of This World?
Same makers and
the same type of game.
Well, that's interesting. I played Flashback, but I didn't play Out of This World.
You should definitely check out Out of This World then. Same type of game. Also done by Interplay. Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, it's
Heart of Darkness as well.
It's Out of This World.
Is Flashback harder or easier than Out of This World?
I'd say it's comparable. Well, that's me personally, though. I mean, I struggled at that game, but I couldn't stop playing it.
The atmosphere in that game.
It was the first game that I ever played that had like a cinematic intro. Remember that? It was like a movie.
Yeah.
On the Super NES, I'm thinking, what kind of... I would sit and just watch the intro like over and over. I was just amazed at how cool that was.
The animation, like this, it just looked real, almost like it was
Totally.
pretty cool.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
I'm still blown away with it. Yeah, when I played it on the 3DO.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very,
game.
very
Does that genre have a name? Like it's like precision platformer or something.
That's a
slash
good name
adventure
for it, yeah.
slash trial and error slash. Yeah. Anyway, that's my pick. Johnny, what about you?
Oh, geez. I know we were talking about this. I was like, what game would it be? And I had to go look at my games on my shelf. And there's a few, but I think one when I look back to would be Phantasy Star 2. And the reason why is because the dungeons were so punishing. They were horrible. If anybody's ever played the game out there, and I'm sure there's quite a few people who played it, it's just that you'd spend 2 hours grinding a dungeon, fighting monsters because it's an RPG, and you get all the way to, say, the basement level, and after 2 hours, and the game was brutal. You'd face a boss character, and if you died, it was over. Like you had your save state was back in a town way over in the overworld. So you just wasted 2 hours. All
So
that
you can't
grinding.
grind, then go and save, and then come back to the boss?
Yeah, most times it wasn't a save there though.
Oh my
That
god.
sucks, dude.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
brutal.
Like everybody's used to like a save right next to a boss now. But
And you still
sometimes
enjoyed
back then-
it?
What's that? I love the game. I love the idea of the game. I was a big fan of the first game. So back then you kind of you knew how it was like. Games were punishing. They were hard, but they were all you had. So you had to like it. Even if it was slapping you in the face, it's just like, you would take it. You go, okay, this is part of the process of playing video games. So
I wonder if
very
you would have that
punishing.
patience today.
Yeah, I don't have it too much anymore.
Yes.
I'm a shorter patience level for sure. But back when I had unlimited time, when you were like 14 years old, you can go and do that dungeon again. But now there's no way I can do that dungeon again. So I need the save right next to the boss now. But
Sounds
that
like
is
a good title for emulators.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely save states anywhere. So that's a great thing. I don't care what anybody says, type of thing. I've done my time of grinding and pain and agony. That's over for me. Like I can't take it. My heart can't take it anymore. But Pete, it comes back to you.
Yeah, so the very first game that popped into my mind, but I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to go to retro and a modern title. But the retro one, first thing that popped into my mind is the game Shadow of the Beast, and that's the Genesis version. Have any of you played this?
Shadow of the Beast. Oh, yeah. Wasn't that an Amiga game?
Yeah, it was a
first?
Amiga game.
Yeah.
You'll remember it as the game where you start off on like a grass field,
Yeah.
and you're running to like the right or the left, and you're dodging like and killing all these random ass monsters that are running at you, and it has that
Yeah.
awesome first level music. But I just remember playing this game as a kid, and it was I'll be honest, I watched like some Let's Plays on YouTube, and apparently I never got past like the initial first stage of that game, not even knowing it. Like, because I would run to the right, and all these monsters would come like you would have. You'd have a split second to react. Like they'd come so fast, you'd have to hit them and dodge them, and it was still fun for me though, because I love the monster designs, I loved the music, I just loved the whole design of the game, and just how unique and like it was weird and unique in a strange sense.
I'm looking at some footage on YouTube. It's really eerie looking.
I had it.
Yes, and the music.
I had it for the
oh,
Lynx.
man,
I think the
loved it.
Atari Lynx. I think I had it for that. Yeah, it was pretty much, ported to pretty much every console back in the day. I think the Nintendo had
I
one.
played the Genesis version. Yeah, there was a sequel too I never played, which I actually should really try and pick up. See how that is.
What was the sequel called?
Shadow of the Beast 2, I think.
It was just okay, simple title. Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
No, I just remember a friend having the Amiga, and he would brag his Amiga by showing this game. And I remember going over there and going, "Oh my god!" Because I had like parallax scrolling, multiple parallax scrolling at the time. I was like, "Holy cow! Look at this game!" And you're right, that opening theme song, music in the first level was just so memorable.
Love it.
So-
Yep. I don't even own. I don't own the game anymore. I used to play it at my grandfather's house, but I still remember that game. And I just talking about it, I want to pick it up again and see how far I can get.
There's
but
like bugs crawling around, and there's like big horns coming out of the ground with like blood. And
I
there's a
love the
blimp.
monster designs. Yep.
There's a blimp in the sky for some reason.
Randomness. Yeah.
It's really terrifying looking.
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
great. I go check that out after this too.
The second game I want to choose is more of a modern title, and people have heard me mention it before. It's actually, this is one game that I just keep coming back to. I always think about it. It really isn't the kind of game that I ever want to do a second playthrough of, despite how much I really loved it and got addicted to it. And that's the Dark Spire on the DS.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. It's one of the most brutal games I've played. Now, here's the funny thing. I mean, it's a dungeon crawl RPG. It plays very similar to Etrian Odyssey, but this game does not hold your hand by any means. Like, I'm telling you, it drops you into that dungeon, and you get your ass kicked by a freaking, like a rat or something, in the first fight of the game. It feels like a boss battle. Like, as soon as you get into your first fight in the dungeon, you're going to die. This game has some of the most brutal and crazy dungeon designs out there, and I will admit, there was no way I could not beat this game. I would not be able to beat it without a walkthrough. I didn't use a walkthrough per se, but I did print out the maps for the dungeons because they were that hard. Like, I guess it's because I didn't grow up playing these kind of RPGs, but there was just something about it that really drew me in, the whole grind of it, and just trying to make it further and developing your characters.
You keep making me want to get this game. Like, you've been talking about it.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it. But it is that kind of game where you are either going to love it or you're going to hate it. There really is no in between. Like, it's just that kind of game. But the dungeons, like, you have to be on a certain square and you have to face a certain wall and trigger a certain event. And like, there is just no, if you beat this game without using a walkthrough, like, for real, seriously, send me a message on YouTube and tell me your story. How many hours did it take you to beat it? Because I'm totally serious. Like, they have riddles in the game and some of the dungeon designs. And here's the kicker. Like, most RPGs these days in the dungeons, they'll have the map and they'll show you where you are in the map. Darkspire does not do that. It will not show you where you are on the dungeon map.
What?
Like, you kind of have to memorize the dungeons and keep track of which way you're going. You can use a spell.
Eye of the Beholder.
Yeah, exactly.
You can use a spell that tells you what coordinates you are on the map, and then you have to kind of map it out.
Coordinates, that's it?
Yeah, it tells you the coordinates and what direction you're facing. So it's freaking brutal. And it makes it really tough in later dungeon maps where, it's a total labyrinth the way it's laid out. But the funny thing is, the game actually got really easy towards the end. I beat the last boss in like a matter of a few turns. I guess because I grinded enough and I built my characters up the right way. So the later half was actually pretty easy once you get used to building up the right team. But it has no story to it, really. It's very light on story. It's one of those RPGs where you don't even see what your characters look like. You have to have a lot of imagination. You just give them a name and choose the class. So just like old style wizardry. Yeah. And the really cool part about it is there's two different art styles. You can choose between like a really stylistic, like hand-drawn art style, which I love. I think it's really, really beautiful, and the music in that mode is really great as well. It has a great soundtrack. But then they also have like an old style. I guess, what does it look like? A Commodore sort of graphic style, I guess you can say. It's
Why
just
would anybody
like
pick that?
it's hardcore. Like it. Yeah. It's just black and white, and the sprites of the characters and enemies and stuff are in color. But the dungeons are all sort of like if you're walking down one of those, it's like one of the hallways in, say, like an old school Game Boy game where they kind of try and give that old fake 3D illusion with just using lines. Yeah. But, yep, the Dark Spire would be my second choice. I love that game. I'll never play it again, but I'll always think about it. That's sure.
I'm sorry, Pete. You must not got the memo, but you can only pick one game.
Oh, man. Okay, if I had to pick one between those two, I'd go with the Dark Spire.
I'm just kidding. Good games.
It's really cheap to pick up too. Unfortunately, we're probably never ever going to see a sequel because after like the first 2 months that game was released, it was $5 brand new in GameStop with the soundtrack.
Wow.
And
$5 brand new?
$5 brand new.
If you see it for $5, can you pick that up for me?
I'll pick it up. Unfortunately, I think it's out of print though.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah, but it's worth it. $5 for the soundtrack alone.
I've never seen it for $5 anywhere. Yeah.
Nope, it was $5 brand new in GameStop. Like that was the retail price for it. Unfortunately, and did I mention that it was on the DS? I don't even think I mentioned what system it was on.
No, I don't think you did. I knew.
Okay, so Dark Spire on the DS.
Yes. The DS. I remember hearing that.
Yeah, at the very beginning.
The very beginning.
Okay.
So
yeah, so that's my pick. Did everybody went right?
Yep, I think we all went. So Fraser, it was great having you on the show. Thanks for joining us, and
Thanks for
Far From
having me
Subtle.
by,
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely.
Yeah, thank
It
you
was
very
fun.
much.
I like talking about video games.
We'll have you on again too. So
Yeah, do that if you can catch me.
All right, guys, episode 12 All Gen Gamers. That's a wrap. Thanks for joining us. I want to give a special thanks to Fraser. Fraser, thanks for joining us on the show. It's been a pleasure having you, sir.
Thank you.
And make sure to check out Awesome Video Games and Video Games Awesome on YouTube. We'll have links in the show notes at allgengamers.com. You can get all the information about all the stuff we talked about tonight. Also, make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes. We appreciate that. It's a good way to get the podcast every week downloaded directly to your iTunes. So, from All Gen Gamers, we're out of here.
Don't forget to send us those voicemail questions.
yeah, there you go. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Awesome.